findings were of Mueller.
There was a time when I couldn't say. There was a time when I couldn't say. What do I do without pain? Say, ooh. What do I do? Practice it. Hello, and then I can teach it. These brain drains will not rain, but now I can say the ooh, so I can do ooh la la. Otherwise, you connect it together. I'll go la la. Solve our trauma. Tra la la la. Hello, and then I can teach it to you. Because now I can say ooh la la. You need that ooh if you want la la la. Oh, you don't.
Never think toward the motherfucking future. You live in this weird ass world where your thought process.
Notice wow. All my words are so different now. But now I can go, how is it different when?
Opioids, like inner city poverty, is a national problem that requires national solutions. It doesn't need more blaming and race baiting by this president. And if you want to cast blame on anyone, let's remember that there's a Republican governor in Maryland, and you have a HUD secretary in Ben Carson who hails from Baltimore, and over the past year has proposed raising rents for public housing by 26%. Just this past week, the Trump administration wanted to take 3 million people off food stamps. So this administration not only is not solving the problem, in many ways they are making it worse.
Now, the president reached out to poor white America. He went to some rural areas and had rallies there and said, I am here to save you, to save you. He looks at black America, according to Michael Cohen, and looks at the poorest areas that are concentrated by African Americans, and says only the blacks would live by that, like that. Explain to me this political strategy.
I'm not sure you can call it a strategy per se. It seems much more an instinct, and to the extent that it is a valuable instinct.
Absolutely not. How dare you? Only valuable to us if we learn from it.
To the extent that it is a valuable instinct, rural America, white America, which has been left, the parts of rural America that are white and have been left behind and perceive themselves not to be satisfied by government policy, particularly Washington, but also in their state capitals. They constitute a political force that Donald Trump was able to marshal and got him into office. And after 2016, everybody looked at the political strategy that he employed and said, wow, there is a demographic here that is being underserved. I don't understand why you can't do both. It is extremely crass, and the crass racial agitation that the president engages in is evident today when he is attacking a television presenter on this network who, he quotes, hate whites. There is no value to that, only to polarize, only to radicalize the electorate. And I don't understand why you cannot have an urban agenda that marries with a rural agenda to address poverty, to address transgenerational poverty, which is something that Paul Ryan tried to do in 2014 and was laughed out of the room for it, by the way. These are issues that Republicans are coming around to, were coming around to in the last decade, and Donald Trump is turning the clock back, and that's a real tragedy.
People were being told it's safe to work there, it's safe to go back to school there, it's safe to work on the pile. Manslaughter on the part of the federal government and the mayor of the city. I get so upset. It was certainly unjustified. It was allow people to tell people it was safe. I get so upset. It was safe when we knew it wasn't safe, and people are dying and will continue to die because of that today.
Is there a stranger out to find you? DuckTales. Oh my god, I love DuckTales. If
if you made it to the end, good for you and thank you. I'm trying to understand how people can do their worst crap knowing it's illegal and wrong. So how do they shove that shit into their bodies? Because I can't do it anymore. And thank you, nerve pain, nerve damage, chronic pain, vestibular vertigo, whatever it is. I couldn't say my city, and that's messed up because I've lived in Chicago for a very long time. I know the city like the back of my hands. I used to create itineraries when people visited, and I really enjoyed it because I wanted them to see the city in the way that I saw it. So anyway, I have a little bit of a different voice, and I'm cool with it, but healthcare treated me like an asshole. And there's too many PTSD triggers related to so much crap. Work, school, home, healthcare, education, administration, even my previous university that I reached out to, and that asked me to pass someone who couldn't do the work because of donor stuff. On a much smaller scale than what we saw with the college cheating scandal. But hey, we know in Chicago, education is a business because there's only 11 selective enrollment high schools. And that's where I'll stop. So the best really does pop up. I don't know how long to hold these notes. I don't know how people read, how fast you read. I can't assess everyone. So you can pause it. You can go back. You can interact with the internet in the ways that I've learned to. So you adapt your needs to what you define as success. How do you succeed? I've already succeeded in life, thank you very much. I made it through really awful crap of others. When you see white, just know that I've connected who's reliable, honest, and full of integrity. It will be the thing to get me through the darkness, and that's telling the story. That's fear right there, and that's a snake because of Sarah Sanders. Please don't forget her contribution to this administration as she continues her life of service to her own family, to herself, not to the people, because you do not model lying to your children if you care about children's mental health. If survivors, victims can talk about their experiences and people believe them, we would earn and learn more knowledge than we ever could before. Emotional, social well-being. Because in this world, there's voices yet to be heard. If we allow that to happen, we can get truth instead of hiding it in pain and suffering and embarrassment and shame and confrontations and disagreements and they don't approve. Do not make me scream and shout. Doesn't go for divorce because this has been a nightmare from the beginning. Excuse me, that's your excuse. For one reason, to get out of my house right now to help you property value in transition from a renter to an owner. That's it. I've owned my home for 10 years. I'm going to go to a more pleasant place, if you don't mind, an artistic place. But to me, that's by design. It's what was put in me. My family values was always to give back and to enjoy these moments that are, I don't know, more about your body and your senses. And that's because it's the interaction between each other that is what creates and helps us be, what's the word? I don't know. Let's just call it fraternity, because I've always loved that word. And from now on, Robert Swan Mueller III is going to be white. Well, he is white. What I mean to say is the symbol, when you see it in my work, when the written words are white, you'll know that I'm channeling him, but from a different time. I didn't know him, and now I know him. So, okay, that's got to be the hope. He's the hope because he's the integrity. Get it? So do we elevate integrity? Or are we going to make fun of his age? Are you kidding me? That's wrong. For the people that went there, I get what you have to say to acknowledge it, but please don't make that a factor in any of the substantive report that he created and saved us money and got the bad guys. Hello, there was Russian interference. So I can't even say his name, when he said that he asked Putin, hello, measure of truth? That's going to be Putin's not going to admit to that. That's a bad thing. Just like the assistant principal asking the student about, and we're not going to go there yet. Thank you.
These are issues that Republicans are coming around to, were coming around to in the last decade.
Hello, and then I can teach it to you. Because now I can say